Clock, just about on the dot. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins. Thanks for joining us here on 10 Plus, our streaming app. We can spend a little bit of extra time talking about the weather instead of what's kind of squeezed in as we get into the news shows. And we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get started right away with the radar. We've had our weather impact alert. We issued it on Friday for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And I really think that what we've seen today is probably some of the heaviest that we're going to get out of all of this, as I don't think we'll see quite the coverage tomorrow that we saw today, and then I think even less than that on Wednesday. But we still have a lot of moisture to work with, so the rain will be heavy at times, and we will get some minor flooding. Good news is now just about all of this is making it to the coast, at least the heavy stuff or the stronger storms with winds generally been gusting in the 40s. We had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, had a tornado warning up into Hernando and Pasco County as well earlier. But as you can see now, most of this is weakening and falling apart. There you go. You can see Hudson down towards Pasco, southwest Pasco County in the Newport Richey area, but those storms are just now offshore. In fact, let's head out to the beach. Let's take a look at that. That's got to look pretty cool there from our camera there. Oh, well, yeah, tough to see. That makes sense, right? But that's the beach. We go down to Bellwether. We're looking up in the same direction a little bit, and there it is. So that's got that mother ship look. See, here it comes. That's a shelf cloud out ahead of it. You can see the sun trying to set down, trying to get some light back up through there. We're not going to do too much. So back out to the radar now. You can see we do have some very heavy thunderstorm activity now moving mainly offshore. Not really the all clear yet. With Trinity area, we still have some rain left over in here. Obviously rain, but some lightning. And that's what I wanted to bring your attention to. It's not quite clear yet to head on outside. Same thing goes back up into northwest Hillsborough. This is Brooker Creek right here. The Eagles, Westwood Lakes, there's still lightning around. Give it another 15 minutes as these storms here move further away. There's even lightning here down towards Rocky Point area and even into Oldsmar. We still got some lightning down there. So want to be very careful. Obviously out here at the beach on the north end, and there's 3 Rooker Island. You get up towards Tarpon Springs area. That's Honeymoon, right there. And then you get up towards 3 Rooker and Anclote. That's where the storms are the strongest. Now, again, this is all pushing off towards the west, so things are falling apart. We do have some pretty light to moderate rainfall left over behind it. And that will linger for about an hour or so in many locations. So, yeah, you'll still continue to be wet this evening, but I do think it'll be falling apart closer to about 9, 10 o'clock. For just about everybody at that particular time. Let's come further to the south. Look at this bowling ball. Look at this thing spinning. Ready? Watch this spin right there. See that? That is from the storms that were pushing southward earlier, but we had a smaller version of that set up over Plant City. And I'm telling you, look at the rainfall estimates for this area in Hopewell over towards State Road 60. Over almost 9 inches. Oh, look at that. That estimate's almost 10 inches of rain. That's in about 3.5 hours. All right. We had a flash flood warning for that area. We do not have any warnings at this particular time. We still have this flood advisory that'll go into effect until 11:30 tonight. That's just basically saying the water that fell is still sitting out there, but it is starting to slowly drain. And we've got some reports of 6 inches at least of fast moving water over some of the roads out there in that area. So that should be draining off, but it's going to take a while, and you are going to have some water standing around. So keep that in mind. But boy, oh boy, I haven't seen that kind of rainfall rate in a long time. And it was basically this little spin that was happening right over that area. In fact, you can see this is a 3-hour loop of rainfall. See, it started. In fact, now I got to go back to 4 hours. So let's go back to the beginning of 4 hours. It's just starting. All right, but watch it. It's 4 hours. And stop right there. So that's, what is that? 4 o'clock through, and then that, you see the one big line come in to clean up right here. Look at that. That's even heavy. 4 to almost 7 when it finally starts to get to that light rainfall. So a solid 3 hours of rain. And this area here from Plant City, but especially south, almost down to Welcome, but this is State Road 60 right here. This area right in here is what saw most of that rainfall. So some really big numbers of rain there. You can see the bigger picture. We had some spots that saw some heavy rainfall, especially when you get out here, southern Polk County, into Highlands County, some good numbers out there. But generally most areas saw around 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. All right, and that, that's pretty good amounts. Look at this right here in Manatee County. Estimated, right? This is radar estimated 5 inches of rain. So that's what happens. You get this tropical moisture, and that's the reason why, as a matter of fact, we have our weather impact alert. Now, one of the reasons this is happening is because of this. We actually have a tropical aspect to all of this, and that's the reason why we issued this last Friday, because we knew we were going to get this tropical moisture. But now, as of 8 o'clock tonight, it was actually about 7:30 or so, Hurricane Center bumped it up to a 30% chance that it develops the next 2 days, which would be tonight and tomorrow, but it's really kind of crossing over the state tomorrow. So maybe tonight before tomorrow morning, about a 30% chance, but a 40% chance once it gets out here into the Gulf and drifts off further to the west. Okay, so we'll be watching. This is not a terrible deal for us. Again, I think some of the heaviest weather we're going to get from this we just got. Okay, so that's good news. But take a look at this. It's now called Invest 93L, which means we're running models on it. Okay, and you can see where it went. This line right here is the track. It's kind of been drifting southward to where it is right now. So the center's up here, but look where all the convection is. It's all down to the south. And clearly, we have some wind shear out of the north here. Okay. And that's going to make it tough for it to develop. That's why it's only about a 30% chance. And even that includes this time frame when it's over here, which is actually better than over here. But look, anything could happen. And this is drifting to, you can see the numbers right now, to the west-southwest at 3 miles per hour. Pressure's really high, 1,016, but it's got winds about 25 miles per hour. Everything I've seen wind-wise is on the south, on the northeast and east side here, but it's just not very organized at this particular time. So this is what we will be watching. Now, the visible satellite, you could see that the tops of the storms are here. The low-level center is probably somewhere in here, and it's going to be tough. Obviously, you can't use the visible satellite at night, but it is within radar range now. Finally, thank goodness. Melbourne lost their radar, got struck by lightning, and then they were able to get it back. So finally, they got it back this afternoon, which is, I mean, Jacksonville was doing maintenance on theirs. We didn't have that, and Melbourne's was out. So that whole part of the East Coast, right where we needed to look today and last night, was out. So thankfully, we got Melbourne back now. Everything looks good. But the reason why I say thankfully is because tropical systems tend to flare up overnight over water. Okay? So you can see it was falling apart today. There's nothing here. Nothing. Look what's starting to happen now, just the last couple of hours. You see this filling in a little bit here? I want to watch that trend. Because if it gets organized enough and say it does do something like it centers here and it comes up like this, what happens in this time frame late tonight and early tomorrow morning? I don't think it has time to do much at all, to be honest with you, but it is something that we'll be keeping an eye on. Meanwhile, what came through today was essentially an outer rain band. See that? That is what came through today. That's basically an outer rain band from this organizing system, slowly organizing system. There's another one here. You can see a couple bands along the coast. See that right there? It kind of fell apart. We'll see if it's got enough energy to throw another one of those. This happened to time itself with the afternoon heating. So as we got warm today and we got a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, plus it had some showers and storms drifting this way, they got bigger and bigger when it ran into the heat that we were getting from the sunshine. We did get a little bit of sun today in parts of the area. Now, here's our forecast model. This is our graph model that we run here at the station, and you can see by the time we get to tomorrow at about 11:30 in the morning, here's the center somewhere in here. Okay? Very weak. It's got some wind on the north side, not a lot. Okay, now watch as we go through tomorrow night into the 10 o'clock time frame, 10 p.m. Tuesday. Is this it here? Looks like it. Okay, you did not see much for us. Watch this. I'm going to back up. Watch the only thing we really get is maybe some of this rain coming across our northern counties. But you do see afternoon storms coming up from the south. So today everything came from the north to south. Tomorrow it's going to be from south to north. So we'll get some rain, but again, I don't think it'll be quite as much as we saw today. That's Tuesday at 10 p.m. Let's go out Wednesday afternoon. This is around 1:30. Looks like the center somewhere over here. We're seeing afternoon storms start down south. Then these will drag off to the north-northwest. So we could get some heavier rainfall, but especially along the immediate coast. Okay, now let's take a look at the GFS model. Kinda. Yeah, it's something here. It's not a lot, and it hasn't been. That and the European models haven't been suggesting that we get a lot out of this. Now, this is Wednesday at 10 a.m., and it does have here in the Central Gulf a little bit more organization. And all the models have done that. They really don't do much over here. They do more right there in the Central Gulf. But some of them actually kind of get it in here and take it in. Some of them take it in here, but a lot of them are taking it over towards Louisiana, and we got one or two that'll go all the way over to Texas. Probably going to be Louisiana, Mississippi, and that's what the GFS has. 1 o'clock Thursday, something right there in southeast Louisiana. All right, and look, this is weak. It's really tough to forecast this far out, where this is just a forecast model, but at least right now that model run is showing something very weak. Okay, here's the European model. Here we are, right? There's our low, that's now. Let's go out to Tuesday around 2 o'clock. Look what it does. The latest run has it over land almost. All right, this is tomorrow around 2 o'clock. Let's see, this is more of the core right here. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, so it kind of goes a little further north, but it's hugging the coast up here, okay? That is 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And then here it is maybe as we get into 5 a.m. Thursday. And then you can see it's going here. That's where we're looking at southeast Louisiana again for Thursday. All right, so not much really going on with that one. Now, rainfall is the issue. The storms are tapering off out there this evening, but we'll fire up a few more rounds as we get going into Tuesday and Wednesday. But not everybody's getting 10 inches of rainfall, obviously, right? In fact, most of us will probably average about 2 to 3. And even there'll be some spots that don't get that much. But like we saw tonight, almost 10 inches near Bealsville, south of Plant City. So you can see some of the spots. Also, what you can notice on this, you see how some of the heavier rain is here, goes across, and then look where it is. You can kind of almost tell a potential track for this thing, right? Just by that. Maybe the center is even down here. We got more rain along the top, so the track does something like that, right? But that's kind of what the models are thinking at this point. Because of this, we are in what's called, we have an excessive rainfall outlook. And today that is a slight risk. It's a 2 out of a 4. And essentially that means we could get heavy rainfall rates. And because of those heavy rainfall rates, we get exactly what happened in Plant City today, or Bealsville today, right? We get quick flash flooding possible. All right, normally this time of year with the circumstances we've seen lately with rain lately, the way the ground is, we can handle about 2 to 3, 2 to 4 inches per hour. We were getting a solid 2 to 4 inches per hour today. And so that's right at the top level of that flash flood guidance. So here we go out now to Tuesday, same setup, right? Nothing really different there. This is Wednesday. Now remember, it's pulling away Wednesday. So the core of that moisture is sitting out here. And if it is trying to organize a little bit, it'll actually get, what it'll do is consolidate the rain more towards the center of wherever that low is. So if it's out here, you're going to get less rain over here, and you're going to have more rain sitting out here. Okay, and the model is suggesting that maybe it does organize a little bit more out here. So that would pull rain away. What it doesn't pull away is this wind that's coming in from the south and the east. Very warm, very muggy, and we still have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. We'll see some sun, right? Especially Wednesday, and even on Thursday for this matter. This is Thursday we're talking about. But we're going to get some storms that form here and then come riding up the coastline all throughout the day. Well, afternoon and early evening hours. Excuse me, that was Thursday. Let's go out. That was Wednesday. This is Thursday. You see it backs back down. I was going to say, I thought that was that. So this is Thursday, and then you see it, we get a little bit later, then it pulls away. Now, it does have it out here to Louisiana. Okay, so they're thinking, there's a good chance that whatever this is coming up in that direction. All right, so I'd say Wednesday, Thursday, probably Thursday time frame as far as that's concerned. Here's our local forecast model. So 9:30 tonight, almost all the rain's gone, right? Let's go out to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Pretty dry, look at this. And here's our system, trying to consolidate right at the last minute before it moves on shore near Daytona. Okay, watch this through the day on Tuesday, right there near Daytona. That's 11:30 in the morning. And here come some showers and storms, especially Hernando and Citrus County associated with it. That's 4:30. Meanwhile,